go. Or you could just, do nothing. Hey everyone, this is Charles Mitri from loungeboudoir.com. And in this episode of Boudoir Pose Breakdown, we're going to take a look at two poses. It's basically one pose, but with just some minor adjustments, it becomes two poses that say sort of two different things. This pose can be shot pretty much anywhere where there's a flat surface, like the floor, a bed. I shoot this on the bed all the time. Sofa, anywhere where your subject can lie flat on her back. Before we get into the pose, I'm gonna go into a little background as to how and why I name my poses. The reason I name my poses is it kind of personalizes them to me. It helps me remember them better. And I try to name my poses in a way that helps me remember their positioning, but also, if I can, attach an emotion that I feel is best suited to that pose. And that reminds me that a pose is not just about putting this leg here and that arm here, but it's really about an emotion that fuels the pose as well. Another reason I name poses is it helps me to quickly write out a shot list. I can just write out their names, and it's a short little, almost like a code for me to know, oh, that's that pose and whatnot. And since I created them myself, it's very personalized as opposed to taking somebody else's poses and names, and it just helps me remember them better. The two poses we're going to talk about today, one is called Resting Desire, and the second one is called Restless Desire. Desire being the emotion I feel is best suited for these two poses. On a scale of 1 to 10, as far as emotion goes, Resting Desire is probably 5 and below, and Restless Desire would probably be 5 and above. These poses can be shot either standing on the floor, kind of looking down at a 45-degree angle at your subject, or what I've been doing lately is getting up on a ladder and shooting at a somewhat angled bird's eye, kind of at 45 degrees, or more closely around 30 degrees, not quite so far around. And I'm preferring the more bird's eye composition better. What that gives me is looking down on the bed. I like the way the wrinkled sheets look with the light hitting it, and then you get all these great highlights and shadows, and it kind of serves as a nice canvas where your subject is right in the middle. And you also get to see the askewed angle she's lying at in comparison to the more rectangular bed. And I like that contrast of her sort of cutting across kind of corner to corner on the bed, and I think it just looks good. And you put that in the corner of a room and you get all these interesting angles going, which I will show you very shortly. The first pose we're going to talk about today is Resting Desire. Now let me minimize my screen here, and I'm going to put myself over here. I have several examples of these poses with some slight variations. This is shot somewhat on a ladder, as you can tell. This is what I was talking about with the sheet serving as a canvas. You get all these great highlights and shadows. Now, Resting Desire, we're going to go down, break it down section by section. So her knees are bent, knees are together, feet are together, and I have her kind of frame her head with her arms resting above her. Now, one thing about this arm position is I like this arm closest to camera lower than this one. Now, they're almost even, but this one's a little bit higher. And the expression that I'm trying to get from this pose is that she is dreaming or daydreaming or reminiscing of some pleasurable rendezvous that she's going to have or is thinking about one that she had in the past. It's a much more calm and still pose. Let me see if I have another one. Let me just run through these poses real quick. It's that one. We'll talk about that one. We'll talk about that one. Did that one, this one, and then this one. So the second pose is Restless Desire. Now with Restless Desire, she's still lying on her back. Separate the feet, which parts the legs, and then we arch the back. Now, her hands are still above her head, resting either kind of beside her. Now with Restless Desire, the emotion is that she's not reminiscing about a past experience or thinking about a future experience. She's kind of experiencing it in the here and now. So I have her take a deep breath through a slightly open mouth. And then what that does is it arches the back and it lifts the chest. And I have her hold that position, and then I take my shots there. Now there are several variations that can go with either pose, and it mainly has to do with the arms. So my default out of the box shot is with the arms asymmetrically resting above her head. But then we can also do where she has her thumbs hooked into her bottoms and she's kind of with wrists flared back. I always like that. Kind of as if she's slipping them off. So here is Restless Desire with the asymmetrical arms framing her head there. And then the other variation is hooking her thumbs under her bra straps, pulling out, away and out a little bit, almost kind of like in a V, away from her. And that gives the shot a little bit more energy. Now there's an endless amount of variations you can do with the arms. Find out what works good for you. I have a few more, but these three variations are the ones that I use the most. So framing the head asymmetrically, resting above her on the bed, hooking her thumbs into her bra straps and pulling out, and then of course hooking the thumbs into her bottoms as if she's slipping out of them. Now you'll want to experiment shooting this pose, like I said, on a ladder looking down, or on a step stool or a chair, or standing next to her. This pose here, this was shot just standing kind of near her head at a kind of a 40-degree angle, maybe a 30-degree angle. That was shot on a ladder, that one, and that one. So those angles I was talking to you about, you can see really clear here. So we have this bed, which is basically square, and then she's corner to corner, which kind of bisects that square. Then you have these great angles in the back. So it really makes for an interesting geometrical shot with her sort of the centerpiece right in the middle. So try these poses, add them to your repertoire. They're always very popular with my clients. And I will see you at a future point in the YouTube universe. Oh, wait, before I forget. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Or you can hit that subscribe button. You know, there's always the option. Or you could do the big double, you know, and do the thumbs up and the subscribe. Or you could just, you know,